This video will be going over a few problems on finding limits graphically. I'm filming this or coming into this video with the intent that this is just to review for the AP exam to get some practice in. I'm assuming that you have learned this before, and this is just a quick refresher because these topics can appear on the AP exam, and they most likely will. So you still need to know how to do them, and this is just a quick refresher. Okay, this is a follow along type of video, so I would recommend that you try the problem first when it appears on screen. Pause the video and try it first, and then unpause it to see what the answer is and how I think through the problems. Okay, so here's problem number one. We're going to find all these limits of this function p of x. So go ahead and try this first on your own. All right, hopefully you try that on your own. Let's go through each one. Part A, limit as x approaches 2 minus. So 2 from the left. That minus sign means you're approaching from the left. Don't forget that. So as we approach 2 from the left, x equals 0, 1, 2. As we approach x equals 2 from the left, where does the function go? It's going to infinity. The limit's infinite. For B, it was approaching 3 from the right. So where is 3? 1, 2, 3. Right here. So we approach 3 from the right. What value do we approach? What's the y value? That is -1. Get this plus sign, we're approaching from the right. Part C, when there's no minus or plus, remember there's a two-sided limit. So we got to approach both from the left and from the right. Okay? So in this case, since when we approach from the left, the y value approaches -1. As we approach from the right, it also approaches -1. Since they match, the two-sided limit is -1. Okay? If they don't match, if it goes to something on the left and it goes to some other thing on the right, the limit does not exist, if you remember that. Okay? And by the way, let me go back to this one even. We can't use the definition of continuity, actually. It's continuous here. So the limit is the value of the function. Okay? Again, I'm approaching this from the perspective that this is just review. You probably should have already learned continuity and all that, and you need to know continuity for the AP exam. So we can think of it like that as well. It's continuous there, so the limit is the value of the function. Okay, same thing for this. Okay. Part D, we approach 5 from the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is right here. We approach it from the left. What is it? What does the y value approach? It is 1. So if you recall, limit is you get very close to that value, but you never actually touch it. So we're going to approach 5, but we never actually get to 5. Right? So it doesn't matter that there's a hole here. The y value, as x keeps getting closer and closer to 5, but not equal to 5, the y value still approaches something. It approaches 1. So that's what the limit is. Okay. Part E, as we approach 5 from the right, it is -1. Okay, we're going to use continuity here as well. It's continuous from the right, we would say. I didn't write that, but we can think of it like that as well. Okay, and then part F, as we approach -1, there's no minus or plus, so we have to approach from both sides. As we approach from the left, the y value is approaching 0. As we approach from the right, the y value also approaches 0. Again, we never actually get to x is -1. We're getting very, very close to it. So what's the y value approaching? It's 0 from both sides, so this two-side limit is 0. Okay, that was number one. Number two, oh, I don't know why this is there. Probably from one of the explanations. So go ahead and try this first on your own. We're going to find these limits, and we're given f and g over here. Okay, let's go through part A. We're going to use properties of limits where we can find the limit of f plus the limit of g. Okay, so what's the limit of f as x approaches 2? So that's where the arrows came in. We're approaching 2 from both sides. The y value approaches -1 from both sides. So the limit's -1. And for g, we're approaching 2. So what does the y value approach? That is 1. So -1 plus 1 equals 0. That's our answer. Part B, again, we just use a different property. We can find the limit of f times the limit of g. So what's the limit of f as x approaches 0? It's 0, okay? And similar for g, it's approaching 0 as well, the y value. So it's 0 times 0, which is 0. And part C, and this will be the last problem of this video, we use a different property where we can find the limit of the top, divide by the limit of the bottom. The numerator, denominator, I should say, to be a little more precise, okay? What's the limit as x approaches -1 of f of x? Well, if we approach from the left, that's +1. If we approach from the right, that's -1. They don't match, so the limit does not exist. So you can imagine, does not exist divided by, I don't know what that is, doesn't matter. It doesn't exist. Okay, so the original limit does not exist. And similarly, if the bottom limit did not exist, in this case it does, but just pretend that if the bottom limit does not exist either, the original limit does not exist. And of course, if you're dividing by 0, that's a different story as well. All right, I went through this quick, as I said. This hopefully is just a review and just getting some refreshers and some practicing before the exam. All right, hopefully this was helpful. Please give this a like if you found it helpful or interesting in any way, and hopefully see you in another video as well. Bye.